All right, ready. Made a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before. I think it was maybe it was the day before, on my issues I was having with vertigo, and I threw in a little beard content there, and I also threw in my newest interest, I guess, is with handmade rings and jewelry and stuff like that. Um, I was going to do just a sort of like an EDC video, but obviously not all the stuff I carry, but just some of my favorite things that I've accumulated as I've gotten older. I buy once and I buy quality, and price is always a factor, but I'm now willing to pay up for something that's made well and locally sourced, as opposed to buying something that's mass produced in a faraway land that doesn't have labor laws. I've pretty much stopped buying anything made in like China, because it's crap, and I mean, you got little kids in sweatshops working for nothing to make this crap, and it doesn't last. So I'm now willing to pay up for something that someone actually, small business, that has worked to make this thing by hand, and usually that stuff will last a lot longer, if not forever. So anyway, I'm gonna get right to it. The first thing I'm gonna talk about, this isn't locally sourced, but my glasses here. I'm farsighted. I can see forever in distance, but my close-up vision, like, I need bifocals. So these actually have a bifocal in them. Now these are very specific. It was really hard for me to find a good pair of glasses, because I got such a big melon. I've got big hands, big feet. I'm a big guy, compact. Hats don't fit, glasses don't fit, sunglasses don't fit, and when I finally do find something, it's always a godsend. And these are actual Ray-Ban new Wayfarers, but these are gigantic. I mean, on any other person they probably look like clown glasses, but these are actually 58 by 18. Most glasses are like 52 by 17, or the biggest you can get was like maybe 54. These are actually 58, and they look normal on me. But the great thing about them, because they are so much bigger, my bifocal's down here, and I don't ever catch a glimpse of that line. I have another pair of Wayfarer glasses that I have at home for reading, and they're very irritating because I can only wear them for reading, because if I put them on, I can kind of see the blur, and I only need the bifocals for reading or something small print. I can see everything else. But with these glasses, they're very specific to me, that I had them tinted with a light smoke that are always smoked, because I'm very sensitive to glare and like fluorescent lights, being outside. So they already have a light tint to them, but they also get transitioned to complete dark outside. They have protective coating on them. Basically every bell and whistle you can get for a pair of glasses I have in these, and I love them. I'll probably get another pair. I'll probably replace the ones I have at home, because they're just useless. I like to wear glasses all the time because I'm always working with my hands, and they also double as a pair of protective glasses to protect my eyes from metal and wood and stuff flying up into my face. So I always have these on. If I don't have these on, I have these on, and I've gone over these in the previous video. These are the fuel cells. I mean, obviously the largest pair they make. Yeah, I've gone through like 4 or 5 pairs of these. They eventually get, they bend, because I do this with them. I wear them like that, or I'll flip them around and put them behind my head, or I'll put them on my hat or whatever. And just invariably, they just finally wear out after about 2 years. So 2 years of use is pretty good for those. And I drop them and scratch them up too. So my two go-tos, so the fuel cells by Oakley, the largest one they make, and then the new Wayfarer 58 by 18s. Perfect, awesome, can't say enough about them. I've had this in a previous video. This is always in my pocket. This is this just kick-ass beard comb made, hand cut out of stainless steel by this HD&M company. I don't know if they're still in business or whatever, but handmade. The clip on it is so solid. I put this in my back pocket and it would not, I have to pull it to get it out. And all of my jeans have this little wrinkle at the pocket where this thing just locks in. And I really like the lanyard with the brass beads on it. Just quality. They did everything when making this to make it last forever. It has a bottle opener on it. I don't really drink bottled beer. I'm more of a liquor guy, but that's besides the point. So that's that. This is my godsend. I buy these field notes in packs of them. This is always in my back pocket. And basically what it is it's my to-do lists. I have 3 pages of to-do list stuff to get done. And then I have a Christmas list back here for the family that I've been working on. But basically, this is just a to-do list, and this saves me all the time. I will stop and just think of something that I need to do, and I'll write it in here. And before that, I had like Post-it notes stuck all over the place, and I'd lose them and they'd fly off. And what I keep in my pocket for my field notes book is this. It's a astronaut's pen. It's super small, which I love because I throw it in my pocket. I used to carry a pen, like all the shirts I buy, I always make sure it has a pen pocket like that, but it always falls out, or I forget it and then I wash it. So this goes in my right pocket and I can't even tell it's there. And I'm sure I think it's made out of aluminum. So when it's open, it's more like a standard size pen. But even with my big mitts, I have no problem writing with it. But what's great about it is it's just so small and it locks, it'll lock in there and you don't even know it's in your pocket. So perfect. Awesome. Would not change a thing about this pen. And like I said, it being an astronaut pen, it writes upside down, you can write underwater. And the field notes pages you can write on those wet too. So I'm oftentimes working outside in the rain or whatever, and I'll write something down, and it's just great being able to write whenever you want to, and not having it run out of ink. My backup pens I've always loved since I was a kid are just your standard Bic pen. I don't like a click pen because I always end up breaking it because I sit and go until I break it because I just like playing with it. So I can't play with this. This is me. There's nothing to break other than losing the top, which I have done. And it's kind of interesting. I did notice that it used to have a solid top and now it's open through. You can see the light going through. I think that was because some kid swallowed one and it created a vacuum, and I think they almost died from it. So now they made it so that air can go through it. So if someone swallows it, it's not going to kill them, I guess. I don't know. It's interesting that I noticed that. But that's my backup pens. These are all over my desk in my cars and stuff. Just your standard black Bic pen. No frills. Buy them, a huge box for basically nothing. So I love my Bic pens. All right. So a good friend who's been following my channel for a long time noticed that I'd made the video, this past one, and wanted to see some of my rings. Now I have a huge collection already. It's just crazy. I love collecting things. I have shelves, handmade shelves I have in my bedroom where I lay my EDC stuff, and I collect Bic lighters, I collect rings, and I recently started collecting turn of the century pocket watches like Elgin. I have 3 or 4 Elgin watches. I'm just getting into it, and from the research, they're the best for a bang for the buck. Like, I'm not looking to spend thousands of dollars, but I have 4 Elgins, and they're like from 1890s, and they're all I'll make a video on them. They're all hunter cases. I like a case that closes on it because I have one that's an open face and I've scratched the crap out of it from being in my pocket. So I like the hunter case that closes, and all the ones that I have are made out of melted down coin silver. So the cases are all solid coin and silver, and it's just crazy. All of them run. I mean, they're well over 100 years old, and I mean, they might lose 20 seconds a day. But I don't have it on me today, but I often will carry a pocket watch. I wear Levi's jeans, and they all have the pocket watch hole in them. So I typically carry a pocket watch. I don't wear a watch. I hate watches on my arms. But I really like a pocket watch, and I love popping it open, and just it's just so nostalgic to me. I just definitely was not born in the right generation. But yeah, I'll do a video on some of those if there's any interest. I have one really old Elgin that's actually a wind up, which is really cool. And the other ones I have, they're all different. One is a stem wind, and then the other one, I forget what they call it, but you basically pop out a little lever on the side that allows you to wind it. And that one's a railroad style. From doing my research, they all had that little pop out, so in case you didn't accidentally pop the stem up and change the time. It was just a safety measure so that it kept time and you didn't accidentally, turn off move the hand so that your time wasn't off, so the trains didn't run into each other. But that's another. Whenever I get into something, I love just researching the crap out of it and just learning everything I can about something. So yeah, I'm really into those. Just great. I love the look of, like, a show that I love watching right now is Peaky Blinders, and it's just, I just love that time period and the way they dressed. Even the poorest of poor had a suit, and they wore it every day. I'm not a big suit guy. I did go. My son graduated from Special Forces training I mentioned before out in Coronado, California, and I actually went for the first time in my life and had a custom-made suit because I can't buy off the rack. I'm just too big, and I'm not the tallest guy. I'm like 5'10", but I weigh right now with the intermittent fasting of like 255. I've been as heavy as 320, but I still am big. But anyway, besides the point, I went and got a custom-made suit made. It actually fits me really well, and I did it the old school way with the suspenders. And there's this company in Poland that makes custom-made hats, fairly reasonable. So I have a fedora, and then I bought whatever the kind of hat that they have in Peaky Blinders. I bought one of those too, and I wear it whenever I wear the suit. And I got my pocket watch chain. I've got two. I got one to wear with jeans, and I got one to wear in a vest. So just cool. I just think it's awesome. I love just anything nostalgic from early Americana, when, like, during the Industrial Revolution, that kind of thing, when we were growing as a country and making things. But again, I'm getting off on another topic. Now, before I get into the rings, footwear for me is huge. I have super wide feet, but they're not very long. So for the longest time, I would actually have to buy a size up because I wasn't smart enough to realize that you can buy shoes in extra wide. So I'm like a size 9, but I would buy a size 10 to fit the width of my foot. Well, yeah. Out of the blue, I live out in the sticks, and I stopped at my local farm store, which is like 2 miles up the road from me, and they sell, all the farm stuff, feed and stuff. Well, they have a whole section of boots, and they sell a wide variety of air yacht boots, and I'd never heard of them. So I was in there just one day, just trying on boots, and I'm like, I can't wear any of these boots. My foot's too wide. Well, the woman, she's like, you can order those in extra wide. So she measured my foot, and I got myself, she ordered them for me, but I got myself my air yacht boots, and these are double E 9s, and they fit like a glove, and they got the tread on the bottom. I love the stitching. I don't know if you're aware of what the stitching's for. It's decorative, but there's a purpose for it, and that's so that the leather through here does not split. That extra stitching right there maintains the integrity of the leather so that it doesn't split over time. And you'll find a lot of boots have it on the sides too, and the whole purpose of that is to keep this from basically coming down. But these are not a high beat. your typical like cowboy boot is like right below your knee, and you'll see this same type of stitching on the sides, and that's literally to hold the boot up so it doesn't like come down like this. And these aren't, I mean, because of they are that short that you don't really have to have that issue. But you know, these are resolable. Just a quality boot for a very reasonable price. I think I paid like $140 for these, and I have 3 different styles of like work boot that I wear every day, but these are kind of my go-to, and I can't say enough about them. Ariat boots, great boot for the price, and like I said, they come in a extra wide size, which, you know, I'm just now learning about in my life. Anyway, that's my boots. Now I'm going to go into, I wore 4 rings today. I typically will wear 4, and I'll space them out. I hate when they're together and touching. It just drives me nuts. And my mitts will change sizes over the day. So if I get up in the morning, oftentimes I'll have to kind of move them over, because as I'm intermittent fasting, I kind of get I lose water throughout the day. I wake up and I'm, you know, full, but then as the day goes on until I eat, all I'm doing is drinking water, and my hands will actually shrink a little bit. So anyway, so my first one that I mentioned in my video was my dad's wedding ring. It's just your basic brass ring, not gold. And this is a size 12, but I can barely get it on my pinky. And no matter how small my hands are, it doesn't go on that one. So I always wear that on my left finger. It's weird. It doesn't feel right on my right. It just doesn't feel right. It's weird how I notice certain things feel better on, certain rings feel better on certain fingers. I'm sure my hands are different sizes. Anyway, slightly different size. So that always goes there. I mentioned the one company that I got the stuff from called Clocks and Colors. Awesome site. You can find them on Facebook and then go to their store. But they make all handmade jewelry, and they use gold, which I don't buy. I don't like gold. Plus it's so expensive. But they use silver and brass. Now this is a solid silver with brass inlay, and this is the devil, and you have the inverted cross. Now, before you think I'm a devil worshiper, I don't really believe in any of that stuff. I just I love the stories behind it, and yeah, anyway, that could go into a whole nother video on that stuff. I don't take anything too seriously, but I just like the ring. I thought it looked awesome, and it was on sale. So I typically will wear this one on my middle finger, and then as the day goes on, I can usually get it on that finger, but it's too tight right now. But these are just super heavy, well made. They're hand carved rings, and all the inlay is done by hand. So we got that one. This is another one from Clocks and Colors. It's there. They have like a Viking. They have different themes, and they have a Viking theme. I've always loved the mythology behind the way that the Vikings looked at the world, and how fierce of fighters they were, because they believed that dying in battle would send them to Valhalla. And I love the series Vikings. If any of you have ever watched it, the new season's coming out, I think this coming year. But it's just crazy how they were just such battlers, because to die in battle was the ultimate honor. And can you imagine fighting a army of men and women? That was the other great thing, was their women were just as tough as they were, that they were looking forward to dying in battle. So they had no fear. Maybe the worst person to have to fight. Anyway, this one, again, this one, where does it say on here? This one doesn't say the size, but that's a 12. So this must be a 14. And like I said, that's the finger it goes on right there. It doesn't, I can't put it on this one, and it's too loose on this one because it's a 14. But this one is basically just a shield, and then you have like a hammer, like Thor's hammer on both sides, like that. And it's all inlaid with brass. So it's a solid silver ring with inlay of brass. I just love brass. Like, I have knives that are, the cases are brass. Like, I have a motorcycle wallet that has a handmade brass chain on it. I just love how it patinas over time. It just looks better with age. It's like a really good leather, like leather boots or a leather jacket, and over time it just gets better. So that's that. And then this one I was wearing the other day. This one came from a site called Iron and Resin. They make super high quality clothing that'll last a lifetime, and they guarantee it. They make this Rambler jacket that's a waxed canvas, and I remember reading one of their blog posts, and they were asking for people to send it back, ones that they've worn and basically just destroyed, to send back in, and then they repair it. They'll like stitch it back up, and this one guy sent it in, and it had rips and tears where he had fallen off his motorcycle, and they sewed it up, and it just looked awesome. It showed its age, but a quality item that shows its age, to me, is better than anything brand new. But yeah, anyway, this is another brass ring. This is a 12. So yeah, I wear that one on my right pinky. I just love it. Turquoise. I think that's what that stone is called. I couldn't remember it the other day. But again, a handmade limited production ring that they sold on their site. I don't know if they still sell them or not. They usually sell it, and then they'll put it on sale until they're all gone, and then they'll get a new artist to make stuff. But it's very much American Indian. My grandfather on my dad's side was a American Indian, so I really kind of love that heritage. I'm not one of these ancestry.com people who need to find out how much I am. I'm an American. That's all that matters to me. But anyway, there's that ring. Very cool. It's got like the arrows on it, and then like some other cool stuff on the side. So yeah, another one of my go-tos for I wear each day. And then lastly, now that the weather's getting cold, I have another great company that I love. I found online. It's called White Knuckler. They're an American-made company, and they make a lot of leather goods, and they make knives. And I bought a couple of their knives. Don't have any of those with me right now, but I bought a pair of their work gloves. I actually wear them, just as regular gloves, but as you can see, I wear them pretty much all the time, unless I'm doing real dirty work. But they were already starting to get nice and broken. But these are all handmade, hand stitched, and they weren't very expensive. I think I paid like maybe 50 or 60 bucks for these. I go through gloves before I finally dawned on me to just buy something that's handmade, with good quality and it'll last, as opposed to going to like your box store and buying a pair of crappy gloves that I'm going to wear out in literally a week, because I work with my hands so much. And I've had these for about a month now, and I was working outside this past weekend digging holes. I put in a fire pit, and I planted a bunch of shrubs and stuff, hedges around it, and probably dug 30 holes with it. And then as you know, I was making my video on my my gun range. I had to move 15 tons of sand from one part of my property to the other, and a lot of it had to be shoveled, and that's all the wear that are shown on these gloves. If I'd been in a pair of regular gloves that I bought at like a regular store, I'd already worn a hole in them. So they just keep getting softer. Just great. And I know I'm sitting here rambling, but I love handmade things now. I mean, I wish I would had the gears had turned in my head when I was even younger, but it's just great knowing that you have something that someone else made and they put their heart and soul into it, and now it's yours. and hopefully you can hand down to family later on. But anyway, I've been rambling on for 25 minutes. I thought this was going to be like a 5-minute video. So if you don't want to, I'm sure most of you turned it off after like 5 minutes. But anyway, again, I'll probably make some more videos on the EDC items, everyday carry stuff, like my pocket watches. I might do it on a few more of my rings. Last thing, this little guy right here, it's just a little piece of brass, and I bought it online because it was made by someone in a small business is looking to get started, and it was super cheap. I got my old lady and I one, and on the inside of it is stamped the coordinates of our lake house up in Maine. And I'm sure all they did was they took all it looks like was a piece of grounding wire out of some thick gauge wire, pulled it out. They basically smash it down, and then they buffed it. Now it's all getting patina to it. But supporting a small company, trying to get off the ground. It's small, not huge to look at, but it has, on the inside, it has something that means something to me, and I just thought it was cool, so I got it, and I actually haven't taken it off since I bought it. I don't even notice it anymore. But anyway, thanks for watching, and like I said, if there's any interest in these videos, I'll make some more. If not, I'll just keep it to myself. Anyway, later. Have a good day.